Hi Julian, thanks for joining me in the Outpost, our shortcast from the marketing frontier. The question we're going to look at today is, why is everyone talking behind your back? Not your back, Julian, more behind a brand's back.
Hey Mark, thanks for having me. So glad to be on this and talking about this because it's a topic close to heart. And I think it's really important as well because, it's really deeply rooted in who we are as human beings. The talking, the communicating. I think Yuval Harari in his book Sapiens really laid it out very well. It is what made us successful as human beings across time. The ability to communicate, but not only about like, where's the line, where's the thread, but also just to understand like social dynamics, who to trust, who not to trust, like who's sleeping with who, like all these things that are obviously not only interesting, but also important for how we form opinions about people and about the world around us.
Okay, so that's quite interesting then. So of all the things we can rally behind in marketing and the work that we do for brands, we're actually going to focus on something as sensationalist as gossip.
Right, yeah, it sounds weird, but gossip is what we do every day. That's what we love to talk about. This is how we share our opinions. And I think in that sense, it is something that's becoming increasingly important for brands to focus on. So not just sharing their information about their products and whatever they have to offer to the consumer, but better like becoming part of that gossip in a more natural, organic way. So finding these points of connection and something that's culturally relevant for people out there.
Okay, brilliant. And so I guess if we could, if that's more like word of mouth as it was, where does that leave the more traditional marketing channels in the mix?
Good question. I mean, we see the change in the landscape over the last couple of years already, but I think even accelerated now with COVID and digitalization of advertising. Everyone's getting bombarded with messages to an extent that even our physiognomy is changing. We're like trying to avoid messaging and ads and so on. And I think that marketing model and the media buying model behind that will be changing as well. It's still relevant for sales, but I think moving towards a future where you want to be part of those conversations and part of the gossip, we will have to focus more on what is culturally relevant to the audience we're trying to engage, and how do we do that in an authentic way.
Okay, so how exactly? So maybe more in terms of channels. How are we actually harnessing the power of gossip? What tools are we using?
Yeah, I think we need to focus more on those ambassadors and those people that either speak for our product or our brand, but also in creating the tools that people need to tell their own story and to be able to gossip in an even better way. So really looking at like, what is the conversation going on out there? How can we tap into it? How can we fuel the fire? And how can we create assets that are creatively so interesting and so different and so on the edge that it's worth mentioning for someone in their stories? And I think within the brand Netflix, this is where the focus is shifting towards. So if we're talking influencers, it's more micro influencers because they are more credible in their own little communities than the big ones that become more like brand ambassadors and marketing channels. But we're also using talent. We're also using publicity. Anything that can create a headline is basically already gossip.
Okay. So you would say creativity still has a role here.
I think that is the beauty about it. The role of creativity is endless in it. And it gets a center stage again. We can move away from creating mass communication to something where we really focus on a few things that are culturally relevant and that can create conversation. And we can put creativity on the pedestal it deserves, and create advertising that's fun, that's interesting, and that's worth mentioning again.
Fantastic. Thanks, Julian. Thanks for joining us in the Outpost.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much. Cheers.